I had a therapy session today that quite literally changed my life. And I answered a question of my therapist that she asked me, I think, 3 months ago. And a few weeks after 3 months ago, we were having a conversation about how I believe that the chief end of therapy was to rip to shreds the false identity that was created by trauma. And she said to me that the chief end of therapy is actually to get the client to behold their pain, to look at it, to see it, to behold the pain, because it's all about unlocking those trapped feelings that are inside. And so what I brought to the session today was from an experience I had Sunday evening into Monday. And what I brought to the table today connected back to this question that she had asked me 3 months ago. And I answered that question today. And when I remember when she asked me that question 3 months ago, I was unable. I could hear the question intellectually, but I still couldn't come up with the answer because I don't think I was ready to know the answer. But today I was ready to know the answer because of what happened to me on Sunday. And I wonder, I can imagine that she knew the answer 3 months ago because she's been doing this, right? Like, especially with the work that we're doing with like family systems, I'm sure that she could already see what was going on with me. And I wonder, what I'm actually wondering is whether therapists make the decision for themselves to not actually, because she could have asked me the question and I could have said, I don't know, please tell me. And she could have told me. I'm wondering if that's how the therapeutic process goes. Or could she see 3 months ago that I wasn't ready to answer the question and allowed the therapeutic process to continue as a means of helping me to get to the answer of that question? Because that question that she asked me 3 months ago is the very key to my liberation. And I mean, I've just been a different person since Monday because I was able to see what was happening. And today I went into the session with an answer. And I think that's the beauty of the therapeutic process, is that I've been walking with someone who's been helping me behold all that stuff, and pain. I've also been thinking about all of the feelings that the body internalizes from ages ago, right? Like some of the work that I've been doing as well has been revolving around the things that I feel, and how the things that remain in me, or the vestiges of those experiences, are from parts of me when I was in my early teens, not from me at 35 right now. And so sometimes we project on most times we're projecting onto the world internalized feelings from decades ago. And this is me into therapy. I mean, it's been 11 months because I got into it like 2 weeks before the end of the year last year. So I'm in this 11 months, and I've made immense progress. And I think, what, I see why people just actually decide to, drink a bottle for the rest of their lives, or just go out into the street. Today I was like, yeah, kambe nyawupe malmuni, like malin, you know what I mean? Because it's so hard to have to come to terms with what happened to you and what it did to you, and the person that you had to become because you didn't have the space at the time to process what was happening to you, especially when it comes to like stuff about parents and how they do not allow you to express yourself. And so all those feelings that still rest in your body are there, and you have to now, decades later, go back to that place, relive that experience in so many ways, and let that thing, the feeling, just pass through your body. And today was the hardest but easiest part of the journey, because I believe that I was in the therapeutic process to answer this particular question, you know and I walked away with the understanding that the feeling, thoughts, the attitudes, and the beliefs that you have about yourself that were given to you or projected onto you by your primary caregivers is the thing that you now internalize and go on and project onto the world, right? It's not actually you, it's something that you were given that was projected onto you that you now project onto the world. Because the last part of the session, and darling, that's when like the session has to end, right? It's when the most profound thing comes in, right? So this in the end, I said to my therapist, I said, oh, I can now see how my trauma trained me to look for the dysfunction or these people, right, who gave this thing to me. And she said, well, your trauma actually trained you to look for trauma. Trauma trains you to look for trauma. And what you have to do now is, well, I'm going to help you divert your gaze to look for something else, which is something you've never done before. And what we're now looking at, what is on the horizon, is the loss of yourself as you've known yourself for the past 35 years. I'm going to help you now walk into a you that you've never known. And that might be the scariest thing I've ever done. But today was in so many ways my breakthrough. But therapy is not a joke. O tao mau tu sa ka me man ka me nyao pe ba sha sa kwin. You can't be lemma basta and doing and just, yeah, because it's hard. But when you have the courage to look at yourself and make yourself the object of scrutiny, you will stop being a slave. He or she who unlearns slavery begins to know love. Something like that. I think that's the quote. Praise the Lord.